Hey guys, welcome to Kidmissing TV. I was editing July and realized I didn't have this video, so I'm making it. This is a case of Alfred Edwin Beilhartz. He vanished in 1938 at Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, in Estes, Colorado, to be exact. He was on vacation with his families. They all went to Estes Park to fish. While hiking with his parents on a trail, he fell behind and vanished. They searched and searched. But hikers in a different part of the park, a man and woman, saw a boy up on what's called Devil's Nest. Well, this was several hundred feet higher than where they had been, and not a place that a child could climb. And he was pulled down from there, and they ran up to make sure he hadn't fallen, and he wasn't even there. So they were really confused, and they didn't know a boy was missing until they got home and saw it on the news, so they immediately called and told them what they'd seen. Also, a bandage was found in an abandoned cabin and was tested, since the child had a similar one when he vanished. A ransom note for $500, equivalent to $10,395 today, was sent to the parents after Alfred had been missing for 5 months. However, police determined it to be a hoax. Alfred's father believed that Alfred had been abducted and was still alive. Again, this was July 3rd. This was over the 4th of July weekend, 1938. The family included 10 children, and they lived at 3225 Quebec Street in Denver. They were camping with some family friends. They dragged the river, and what's really weird is the bloodhounds laid down. They walked to a certain point and they laid down. To me, isn't that their, I don't remember the word, their signal or their sign, I know there's another word for it, that they have found something? I mean, I could be wrong, but I know they all have a signal to let you know, a tell, to let you know they found something. The eastern and western slopes of the Continental Divide run directly through the center of the park, with the headwaters of the Colorado River located in the park's northwestern region. Here's a little interesting note. The Rocky Mountains National Park Act was signed by President Woodrow Wilson on January 26, 1915, establishing the park boundaries and protecting the area for future generations. It must have been when it became a national park. Also, the banks of Roaring River. In 1903, a 26-foot high earthen dam was built there. They all began searching right away for him. They dredged the river. I guess they actually drained water from places and never found him, because that's where the park operators were, not operators, the park rangers were working under the assumption of. And his family never believed he fell into the water. By Wednesday the 6th, the search of the river had ended, leaving searchers frustrated and confused. They continued to search the land, and by Thursday, 200 searchers told news reporters they were convinced he had never drowned and had either gotten lost in the forest or had been abducted. Because his body would have hit a net in the Fall River and they would have found him. Therefore, again, they stated he's either in that forest somewhere or he's been kidnapped. Rangers called in some sniffer dogs. And this is where it was really weird. The dogs hit on a scent some way higher in elevation from the camp, but led nowhere. The search was called off after 10 days. Again, the couple that were hiking told their story. The child made a shrill noise before he was pulled. The Rangers were skeptical, believing it would have been impossible for Alfred to have made his way up there. Unless he was carried up there, or driven up a certain amount and then carried up the rest of the way on foot. On this day, on July 8th, the FBI announced that it was performing forensic tests on a piece of soiled bandage that had been found because Alfred had a bandage on a blister on his foot. On the same day, a woman by the name of Mrs. C.A. Lynch, who lived in Big Spring, Nebraska, allegedly saw Alfred and a mysterious man walking along a highway together as she and her husband were driving from Big Spring to Ogallala. She didn't know until the next morning how important her sighting was when she was reading the newspaper and saw the photo of Alfred. She claimed the boy she saw on the highway was the same boy. She was adamant it was him. She told her brother-in-law, W.B. Lynch, of Lincoln, Nebraska, about her sighting, and he went to speak to a Denver detective sergeant by the name of Fred Renovati. 2 days later, on behalf of his sister-in-law, he said that she was positive he was the boy whose picture was in the paper. And again, on November 27, 1938, there was a ransom demand. Sorry for your son. We went west out of money. The boy doesn't take to us. We will return your son if you will leave $500 in a can, 1 block from your house, and the note. We will return your son within 24 hours. However, by November 29, the police were fairly certain again that this was a hoax. Unfortunately, that's literally everything they know. Now, let's see. I do not have a phone number for this case because the case is so old. What do you think? Do you think he was abducted? The river seems ruled out. Could he have disappeared in forest? Sure. But you would think hikers at some point or another would have come across the skeleton. Just saying. So, those are my thoughts. I personally think he probably was abducted. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time here on Kid Missing TV. Bye, guys.